family's land in Cumberland. They laid plans to move back for good, buying out some of Thomas's relatives' shares of the land. They were always driving down for funerals and family visits. Sometimes they brought along their niece and nephew, Yolanda and Osborne Reeves, who lived with them in South Orange after Yolanda and Osborne's parents got divorced in the Cumberland courthouse. Later, they brought along Yolanda's children, Craig and Penelope, my mother. Uncle Tom died in 1976, 5 years after Aunt Annie, and a few months after his interview with my Uncle Craig. I was 5 years old. We all caravanned down from New Jersey, my little sister and I yawning in the back seat of our family's powder blue Plymouth Valiant. The burial was at Midway Baptist, on a strip of land Thomas and Annie had deeded to the church in 1965. Uncle Craig talked with lawyers to settle up the deeds, tax receipts, life insurance, and the title to the Holcombs' old Buick, using notes Thomas had penciled out sometime earlier. Then Craig put the papers back into my Uncle Tom's dented, wood-grain metal file box. I am looking at it now. It holds but a few of the millions of legal acts that are memorialized on scraps of paper in attics and basements and on 100,000 docket books in county courthouses all across America, the vast paper trail of the law. Once you start looking, you realize that the history of black civil rights is all around us. The story of Thomas and Louisa Holcomb and their descendants is not a very special one, though it is special to me. Probably many of you, listening to this now, have a similar story. Yet precisely because it is so ordinary, it challenges much of what we think we know about civil rights and about black people and the law more generally. The story of civil rights that most people are familiar with goes something like this. Once, the legal system was dominated by racist state and local officials who refused to recognize not only black people's civil rights, but their basic human dignity and even their lives. Law was a hostile, fearsome power to be avoided whenever possible, full of unknowable secrets and often deadly. Then, in the 1940s, a few brave lawyers ventured south, bent on changing the law. They confronted the system with a carefully planned series of strategic lawsuits and with the powerful symbolism of a black lawyer in a white courthouse. Soon, ordinary African Americans, their sense of possibility awakened by Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka and other Supreme Court victories, and galvanized by racial justice activists, coalesced into a mass movement, demanding that the federal government force those racist state and local officials to recognize black people as free, full members of American society. This is the master narrative of civil rights. It is powerful, not least because it refuses to concede to right-wing reactionaries the right to say what freedom is. It is also powerful because history is not just about the past. History is literally present in all that we do, James Baldwin wrote at the height of the civil rights movement. We carry it within us. The choices historians make, what to write about, what counts as evidence, and how to interpret it, are inevitably shaped by the world around us. African American history is no different. In its modern form, it grew directly out of the civil rights movement itself. Activists in the 1960s created black history units to teach in the Mississippi Freedom Schools. At colleges, a black student movement demanded black history courses, faculty to teach them, and a wholesale rethinking of what our country's history is and how it should be taught. Many leading black historians came into the field profoundly shaped by their experiences as activists in the 1960s. Some explicitly said that their scholarship was a continuation of the struggle for black freedom. Today, even as many historians remain committed to the idea of scholarship as struggle, they are debating what that struggle actually was and what lessons it holds today. Instead of looking from the top down, from the perspective of great leaders like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, famous lawyers like Thurgood Marshall, statesmen like Lyndon Johnson, and the liberal justices of Earl Warren's Supreme Court, A grassroots approach has transformed our understanding.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.